booktube.
Oh, I didn't realise you'd started it. Jeez, I was just getting myself ready now.
I'm sexy.
Oh, you are. You frightened me. No, you didn't, but...
Oh, I wish I did.
Could have been doing anything.
Well, I do have eyes.
Yes. This is another one in our Reading Around the World series.
At last!
Yeah, I was going to start this by demonstrating my horrendous Indonesian speaking
Please
ability.
don't.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a bad idea.
Yeah?
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe you're a genius at it.
I don't know. I haven't done it since primary school. And I know, like, how to say good morning, but it may be good afternoon. I can't remember what time we had class. But it was a Selamat Salam. And then you would be Boo Nelle, which means Mrs. Nelle, Lady Nelle, Auntie Nelle, I don't know. It's some form of...
respectfulness.
Female, respectful, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, we're doing the next one in our Reading Around the World series. This is Indonesia.
Yes! Very exciting.
Indonesia is a country very close to where we live in Australia, and that is where all bogan Australians go for holidays, Bali.
Yes, it is.
But we've never been because...
We're not bogans.
Jeez.
You reckon you're not from... Nelly said where we live.
Yeah, no, I'm like privately educated and posh.
So am I.
Oh, yeah. But...
Just because...
Anyway, before we get into some sort of class argument here...
I'm gonna beat him with a stick.
Yeah.
Because he thinks he's better than me.
Think is such a subjective word.
Anyway, Indonesian literature.
Alright, so we have 4 books from Indonesia. Man, it took us 2.5 minutes to introduce this. That's because we basically had to be dickheads for a bit.
Back on track! I'm just trying to be back on track!
Alright.
What are you doing?
So, 4 books from Indonesian authors, except my first book is not actually from an Indonesian author. But it's actually important. So the first book I'm going to recommend is a classic written in 1860 called Max Havelaar, and it's by Multatuli, which is a pen name for Eduardo Duls Dekker. Now, Dekker was a Dutch writer, and the Indonesian history is... the Dutch East Indian Company and Indonesia are quite linked at that point in history, and Dekker was a employee of the Dutch East India Country and was basically part of the colonialization and, you know, racism and horribleness towards the local people.
So not someone that we would normally go to for one of these.
No, but what happened to Dekker was that when he went there and saw what was happening, he repented of what's happening, and he was a bit of a social warrior for change. Seeing the actual situation in front of him, he thought it was bad, and he wrote a novel which was designed to enlighten Europeans that the wealth that they were living on was caused by a sort of misery in third world countries, which really isn't too dissimilar to our society today, but
we continue to ignore it, yeah.
Yeah, we continue to ignore it. Very talentedly. Anyway, in Indonesia at the time, farmers were encouraged to grow what they called profitable crops, which was basically things like coffee and sugar instead of things like rice, which they would eat.
Right.
This in turn led to them being taxed higher and bigger commissions given to the Dutch authorities, who would then beat them or produce other forms of encouragement to make them do what they were told. On top of this, they were fed opium as a form of controlling them, which is very similar to the way the Brits treated the Chinese a few years later. So I feel like there was like a bit of foreshadowing for another bit of atrocity happening. So this book, it's called Max Havelaar. It's got a second title. It's called The Coffee Options of the Dutch Trading Company. And it was, actually I think it predates what we would now consider Indonesia as a country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That was depressing.
That was depressing.
My book is called Sitti, Nurbaya, the Unrealised Love. And it is written by Marah, Roesli, and published in 1922. It's considered to be a bit of a Romeo and Juliet in the sense that it is a tragic love story. It's semi-autobiographical in the sense that the author was not allowed to marry the person of their choice, and their marriage was arranged much like the main characters, central characters in this novel, but that was also very common in the time. It's anti-colonialist. It is about all the things. It uses traditional storytelling techniques and discusses sort of like the modern framework of Indonesia as seen at the time. So it sounds like a very important work, all wrapped up in a
love story.
In a love story. So very interesting.
Yeah, social critique. So the next one I've actually cheated. I'm not actually doing a book now. I didn't do an Indonesian author, and now I'm doing an Indonesian author instead of a book.
I mean, have we said Scott's a cheater before?
I mean...
Anyway...
It doesn't matter. This is our video. We make the rules. We can change the format. I'm going to talk about Moxtar Lubus. Now, Moxtar Lubus was a writer in the 60s and 70s. At the time of the... what's the government's name? The Sukarno government. And he was a critic of the government. And as a result, he wrote these two books that I'm going to discuss. Firstly, under house arrest, and then just under full arrest. So the first book I'm going to discuss is called Senja Dai Jakarta. And this is a book that basically discusses a family's want of... a family in the political circles who have set up a fake company in order to funnel money into a political party, and then to use their political position to, blah, the stuff that's just happening in general politics in Western countries at the moment.
Yeah.
Anyway, everybody knows about it, and these people then, they sleep with multiple people, and they do all sorts of horrible things, and it's all a critique of the government at the time. And then they have normal people who are basically being crapped on. Now, this book was originally titled, it's not titled this, but it was originally titled, before it got changed, Those Who Are Trod On Fight Back, or Those Who Are Stepped On Fight Back. And this was the first book written in Indonesian, translated into English for the English market.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Now, this author then wrote another book called Harumari Haramari, which means Tiger Tiger. And again, this was basically a veiled criticism of the government at the time. It involved 7 people who were going and tapping trees for resin. They went into the forest, a tiger hunted them, and their charismatic leader couldn't save them from the tiger. And it sounds like it may be a little bit of an allegory.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, and my our last book, my book is called Tiger Man. It was first published in Indonesian in 2004, but it wasn't translated into English until 2015 and 2016, depending on which market you're in, whether you're UK market or I think it actually came out of India first. But it was longlisted for the Booker Prize in 2016. It's called Tiger Man, and it's by... I need to read the author name, I'm sorry.
It's alright, we've both got our phone for notes here just because some of the names and stuff are challenging, and everybody keeps notes when they make videos.
So it's written by Kurniawan.
We'll put the name up here.
Yes, and translated by Labdullah Sembiring. It's the story of two interlinked families, and one man in one of these families is concealing within himself a female, a white Bengal tiger.
Okay.
Just like trapped inside him.
Did you... Inside him?
Yeah, inside him.
Is this like a magical realism? Or
I feel like it is a bit of a magical realism, and it's definitely very metaphorical for the state of the nation. So, again, I think a bit of a political allegory thing going on.
A lot of books about tigers going on there.
Yeah, well, why not?
Yeah, well, I guess, you know, Java and all of those places, there's jungles, there's... Tigers. Yeah.
So that's our 4 books from Indonesia. We hope that you liked this video. Subscribe and ring the bell if you did. Make sure you comment below if you've read books from Indonesia or by Indonesian authors, or if you've read any of the books that we've mentioned and what you thought of them.
And if you like this series, this is 4th or 5th? 4th. We've done Philippines, Scotland and China.
There's a playlist.
So we'll put a playlist in the description.
Yeah, awesome.
Bye.
Bye.